Hello. I've had lots of interesting guests on this programme, but never one who's been described as looking like a human traffic light. So it's welcome Toyah Wilcox.
Thank you. I've never heard that one either.
Yes, actually, you're more like a Belisha Beacon today. It's rather unusual.
Thank you.
Right. and more of that later, I can promise you. We can see now a brief glimpse of you in concert, which comes from last year's documentary that ATV did on you, and it was watched by Robert Grist of Leytonstone and quite a few others. And this song is called Dance. You're very fit, I must say that. Now, let me go back to the beginning of your life. You're from Birmingham, aren't you?
Yeah, yeah.
And your family is quite well off?
I think they were when I was younger. I think, you know, they're just sort of scraping through at the moment. But I went to a public school in Edgbaston in Birmingham, which was agony. It was very it was too upper class for me. I found it very claustrophobic.
And you joined Hells Angels when you were 14?
Oh, I didn't join them. I was absolutely fascinated in motorbikes. I just would do anything to sort of, you know, get my hands on a motorbike, even though I was always too small to actually ride one. And I knew I'd never be able to own one because I'm so small. It was very frustrating. But they weren't Hells Angels. They were just kids with you know, really nice, big, shiny motorbikes.
Yeah. And you did 10 O-levels. Now, these are facts I've been told. They may all be wrong. 10 O-levels, you failed all but music. Was this a deliberate policy on your part? Because you're obviously bright enough to do it.
Should I answer this? Yes, it was. I just wasn't interested. I couldn't... I wanted to do art, and I was banned from art for no particular reason other than you weren't allowed to do art or music together. So I thought, oh, I'll do music and learn the techniques of music, because I didn't believe anyone could teach you how to do art. And I studied very hard for music, and I forgot about the others. I didn't need them to act.
Then you did your own chat show after drama school. Let's get things right, though. You went to drama school, then you did lots of work, rep companies and television, and you worked with Catherine Hepburn and other stars. But then you did a chat show of your own called Look Here. What kind of guests did you have on that?
Musical guests, mainly. Certain musicians from very well-known bands. But the interesting thing there was I originated with that show being a guest on it, being interviewed about a film called Jubilee, and then the next week I got a phone call saying, would I host the whole programme? It was wonderful.
Perhaps it works the other way around and I'll be a film star next week. Now, you've lived in a converted warehouse, you've slept in a coffin, but you don't drink and you don't take holidays. Is that true? I mean, how, with the kind of pressure of work, how can you not take a break?
Well, I believe holidays are for when you need them, and I've never really felt that I've needed a holiday ever. The last time I went abroad for a holiday was when I was 10, and I've never wanted to go since. I'm so full of energy, and I love my work so much. I don't need hobbies or entertainment, because to me my work is totally entertaining. But I am going away this Wednesday.
Because you need to.
I need to. I've got to.
I should think so.
I'm exhausted.
You've talked about the music and the acting, because you do all these things, and you say that music is harder than acting because you don't know what's going to happen with music. But that's pretty well the same with actors. They don't always know what's going to happen.
Yeah, I've rethought that one, actually. I will now justify that. I think stage work, acting on stage, is far more demanding than anything, because the discipline you've got to have each night to do the same lines and give them spark and give them life. It's incredible self-discipline. And the same goes for appearing live with the band. I mean, I'm sort of running left, right and centre, exhausting myself and trying to make the show build into a big crescendo. And it takes a hell of a lot of thought. It's not just energy.
I don't think you'll become an old lady. You'll just explode one day, and that'll be that.
Scanners.
Marcus Taylor from Greenfield in Bedfordshire wants to know how much weight you lose when you're performing.
Oh, it averages at least £3 a night.
And do you make that up in some way?
Not really, no. When I'm on tour, I try to get my weight down by a stone anyway. Because I usually find when I've stopped touring, my weight goes up, and I'm like a yo-yo. So I do consciously try to lose it.
Tina Brookling from Reading would like to know where you get the inspiration from your songwriting.
Science fiction books, horror movies, anything that isn't to do with everyday life. But all the same, I do like to take a car ride and look at everyday life and put it into my terms and make it as peculiar as possible.
Time for another quick one here from Nigel Gilbeer of Hitchin, who gets very nervous when he does his school plays, and he wonders if you do and how you get over them.
Nerves is the best thing you can have, because the reason you've got nerves is because you really care. And the day you don't get nerves, if you want to be a performer, is the day you worry. And you can't get rid of them. The main thing is to be totally confident within what you're doing, suffer the nerves before you go on, and then when you go on, just enjoy yourself.
She's quite right, you know, she's absolutely right. Well, one play that you did, not on stage but on film, has been requested by Dorothy Hood from Newcastle-on-Tyne and Dennis Williams from Bermondsey. And they've asked to see you in Shakespeare's The Tempest, which was directed by Derek Jarman. But here you are as Miranda, playing opposite David Mayer as Ferdinand.
What is your name?
Miranda. My father broke your head to say so.
I am in my condition of Prince, Miranda. I do think a king. The very instant that I saw you, did my heart fly to your service. And for your sake am I this patient logman.
Do you love me?
Beyond all limit. What else of the world to love, prize, honor you?
I am a fool to weep at what I am glad of.
Why weep you?
At mine unworthiness, that dares not offer what I desire to give, much less take what I shall die to want. I am your wife. If you will marry me.
My mistress, dearest.
My husband, then.
Why, here's my hand.
And mine with my heart in it. Farewell. Till half an hour hence.
You're a very versatile lady.
Yucky.
No, I won't accept that. Katie Brazier, who's 9, from West Horsley in Sussex, wants to know if you prefer traditional plays like Shakespeare, or do you like the modern stuff?
I prefer the modern stuff. I had a great difficulty doing Shakespeare. It's not my best subject.
But you learned the lines by singing them, didn't you?
Yes, I mean, that's the only way I could pick the rhythm up. But surprisingly enough, I mean, here I am, a singer and a dancer and everything. I just couldn't understand or get to grasp with Shakespeare at all.
But it is rhythm, and that's how you got it, which was very clever of you. David Saville of Teddington wants to know if you thought of combining your singing and acting and doing a musical. I presume it means a stage musical.
One day, but not now. I don't think the time's right. I don't think there's any really good material going around. I'd like to try and write a musical myself, but I'm not yet ready for it, but one day.
Perhaps when you're on holiday you can make a start on that.
Oh.
Kevin Sermon of Wilson says, what do you call your music? I mean, can you categorise what it is you write?
Loud. You've picked on a good theme there. I don't like being categorised. I think that the more free you are, the more you can expand as your career goes on. I think a lot of artists that get slotted into a category, they grow old-fashioned and stale, and I don't want that. I want to be free.
Yes, oddly enough, yes, that comes up a bit later on. Seems to be your theme in life, certainly. Got some more requests now. Sebastian Coe's feet, as we saw earlier, hardly ever touch the ground, but they don't often go 300 metres straight up, and that brings us to Roxy old Jonathan King there. Steve Bristow from Eastcote wants to know, Toyah, why have you started to wear white on stage rather than black?
The reason for that is we had a new lighting show, and the black didn't come to life under the lights. So it was purely experiment for this present tour. I won't do it again. I intend to change for every tour.
And you are planning something new, aren't you?
Oh yes, for the next tour it should be even more spectacular. It's going to be Not false. I still intend to involve the audience as much as possible and perhaps develop that even more, but it's going to be very, very visual through lighting and hopefully video.
The last question here from Teresa Mills of Ipswich, who wants to know if you're going to keep up your acting and singing careers. Not going to specialise for a while.
I hope I'm going to keep them up. I fully intend to, and both sides are looking very good at the moment.
Well, it looks quite nice from where I'm sitting as well. Thank you. Thank you very much for being my guest today.
It was a pleasure. Thank you.